Wherever you are this evening, we would like to welcome you to Let's Talk with Pastor Ngwaru Shaw. On this particular show, we address marital issues, family issues. We even deal with the leadership issues, management issues. We are into health, spirituality, religion. This is like your one-stop shop for family development. I'm glad that you could make time. For tonight, we have a very interesting but very hot discussion, and it says informal separation, temporary shutdown of marriage. I don't know what our panelists are going to be giving us tonight. You know, when you look at um, systems being shut down in marriage, maybe temporarily, and the marriage ceases to be a marriage informally, and you have not gone to court, you have not gone anywhere, but between the two of you, you can actually say this thing is not working. I don't know how many of you viewers out there have been in a situation where your marriage failed to work, maybe for a day, maybe for a month, a week, who knows, for some for years. Please don't report me to my wife. I remember in our first year of marriage, the very first month, it failed to work in one day, and I could see her packing and leaving. I remained alone, and I had to chase after her, and thank God for us, she was able to come back. In our first year, first month, we had a day when there was a total shutdown of marriage. I don't know how long it has been with you, and for some, maybe it is still coming. I've got my panelists here to help us understand how people get into that situation and what happens when you're in that situation, and possibly how can you get out of it, and if you can't, what will be the fate of your marriage. And as usual, my dear viewers, we allow you to ask questions, throw your questions on the chat box there. We'll be able to attend to them and your comments. And to help me navigate this very sensitive, very hot discussion, I've got three panelists here. Two of them are psychologists. And then, of course, one of them is a family ministries graduate. So I've got Faith Jula there, and she's a psychologist, and I've got Dr. Gift Mwemba. He's a theologian, and he is also a graduate of psychology. And then, of course, I've got Dr. Wabile Ndlovu. He's a doctor in family ministries. He's a theologian. And these three are bringing in some experience. They are bringing in some educational background that will help us to go through this. I'd like to give them just maybe 10, 15 seconds each to introduce themselves so that we get to know exactly who they are. Maybe I'll begin with you there, Faith.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy and excited to be on this channel this evening. My name is Faith Sijula, as Pastor has already introduced me. In the next 2 weeks, I'll be married for 33 years. I'm a granny, and I'm very proud of my grandchildren, and I work as a psychologist. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion this evening. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And Gift there?
Well, my name is Gift Mwemba. I'm a pastor and a publishing director. I'm also doing a little bit of life coaching, and I have a wife. Faith is a senior. I've been married for 26 years. I don't get out yet. Yeah.
Beautiful. So we have 33 years in marriage. We have 26 years in marriage. And maybe let's discover Dr. Ndlovu there. Who is Dr. Ndlovu?
Well, thank you very much. My name is Alvin Wabile Ndlovu, a teacher, and a pastor. I am a district pastor at the moment, pastoring a multicultural district. I am the least married of these guys here. I've been married for 23 years. So I'm
23 years.
Faith. It's quite interesting, yes. I'm married to Tandekile, and God has blessed us with 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. Thank you.
Wow. That's
Beautiful.
great.
Beautiful. We want to welcome every one of you. But before we go any further, I just want to feel very proud. I'm the most senior of all of you here because I've been married close to 40 years now. I think we have done 38, if not 39 years of marriage. So when I listened to 33, it sounded like a big number. Then we went down to 26, then 23. No, tonight I am very much of a senior. I would like to thank God for that.
But you don't look worn out, you see.
Now, listen, guys. I told you that in my 38 years of marriage, there was a day when it did not work. Gift. You need to thank God that you have not passed through that. I'm talking of a pastor. I was a young pastor there, 1983. I got married in March, and in March 27, and in April after the honeymoon, amen. We could see this thing is not working, and we had a shutdown. One day, Elizabeth packs and she goes. For the first time, I had a night, 24 hours by myself, and I had to follow her up. And when she went away, she also was in misery. She was hoping I would come and pick her, and which happened. And when we met, and you know what she says when she got to her parents, says, no. Mike will be following. I've just come here for just a short visit. I'll be going back, and what have you. Talk of an informal shutdown of marriage. Some of us have been there before. I don't know with you guys, when we talk of informal shutdown, is it something that you read in a book? Is this something that there was a near miss in your marriage? How does this resonate with you in your family, in your clan? Is this something that you have seen apart from just discussing it? Not necessarily your own marriage, but for me, I don't care to say it because it actually happened. 24 hours, it did not work, but thank God, in the next day, we're able to fix things to this very day.
Yes, allow me to chip in.
Yes.
There is no marriage without detours. In life, you experience those detours, and all of us have gone through that dark moment. But we thank God for the intervention. And some of us were helped by other people. We had to lean on somebody to help us out of a particular situation. So it's indeed a fact of life that at times there is that temporary shutdown in marriage.
Wabile, is it not because we are poor pastors and we don't know how to manage things? Don't you think other pastors did a lot better than the two of us?
Yes, they could have done a lot better, but I want to believe there is a point in life where marriage has to come to a certain point, even for a pastor. Because a pastor is you.
A pastor is a people also, somebody says that. Temporal shutdown and whatever, is it something that you read in books? Is it something that you have seen in life?
I've seen it in life, Pastor. I've seen it in my practice. And there's no perfect marriage. If someone says our marriage is perfect, I don't think that's true. So we've been through our mountaintop experiences, and we've also been through our valleys experiences, and it's part of life. Imagine if life was just the same, and there are no shades. So life would be boring. But I know that we learn from the different experiences that we go through. And I've also gone through mine, and many people have gone through the experiences, but by God's grace, we're still standing.
That's powerful. It's quite interesting when you've got a topic where we are practitioners in the challenge, and we can talk about how we got out of it. And I'm sure our viewers will benefit quite a great deal. But I want to tell you what, Dr. Gift Mwemba is a totally different experience from the three of us. Gift.
Yeah, you know, if there is no negativity in your relationship, then you are abnormal. Yeah. You are actually abnormal. There's something wrong with you. Yes. You are abnormal. Because then you are, it's either you are pretending. Yeah. You are actually fake.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you, yeah, because in human DNA, conflict is inbuilt.
Yeah.
So it is not the presence of conflict that matters. It is the management of conflict.
Of conflict, yes.
So shutdowns are there. It is not the presence of a shutdown that matters. It's longevity.
Yeah.
The longevity of the shutdown is the problem.
No, I hear you, Gift. You bring in another angle there. If there is no negativity in your relationship, then it's borrowing from you and Faith there. There is something wrong with you, or you are abnormal in one way or another, or there's a lot of pretense that is taking place in that relationship.
That's right.
We'll get to hear more. Now, let's
Fundis, can you imagine when in a marriage between partners, if the other partner says something and then the other one agrees, yes, all the time, yes. What kind of life is that going to be?
But Faith, let me hold you there. I've run marriage seminars, and I have heard some women, when people are self-introducing their spouse, and you hear, this is Alexander. We've been married for 15 years, and I would like to tell you what, we have never shouted, we have never quarreled, and our marriage is very peaceful. And then she kisses the husband, and everybody says, "Wow." Do you think they're abnormal?
I don't think that's true. Personally, we do have differences, and that doesn't mean we don't love each other. We cannot agree about everything in our lives. We do have differences, and it's actually important to speak about them, be open about them, and discuss them, and therefore you find a common ground.
Beautiful.
So it doesn't mean you don't love each other, and it doesn't mean the marriage is about to break down or there's about to be a shutdown.
Okay, no, that's fine. You want to say something?
Yeah, if people say we've been married for such a time and we have never differed, the danger is like the human body. If you say in life you've never been sick, you must, the day you get sick, you are going. You know why? It is because the mild sicknesses that we get are actually a boost to the body's immune system to create antibodies. So the diversity, the little negatives that you go along in your marriage are actually preparing you.
They're strengthening you.
Yes, for a stronger marriage. There was an article in one newspaper of an Indian woman who divorced her husband. And the reason is he agrees to everything I say.
I've seen that one, yes.
Agrees everything. I was talking to another person who says, no, me, I'm dumping my boyfriend. I said, why? Says, I can't have a boyfriend who I can order around all the time.
All the time, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there is no negativity in your marriage, you are either faking it or you are abnormal.
You're abnormal.
And,
Okay.
and the way it explodes, you might not handle it.
You may not be able to handle it. Now,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know, you, Alvin, and maybe Faith, Gift, any one of you there, how do we define an informal separation vis-a-vis a formal one? We're not talking of divorce, talking of an informal separation, and there is a formal separation. What are these animals and how do they differ?
Well, I
Alvin?
would like to say, okay, can I go on?
You can
Yeah.
go, Pastor.
Okay, fine. I would like to say when you look at informal separation, you look at those two words, informal and separation.
Yeah.
So when you look at something that is informal, it's not following an established form. It's done casually. It's not even recognized anywhere besides the two of you. So it's something that is done between two parties. It has no legal connotation. It's what I would say, it's lackadaisically done, right? It's not in order. It's just somebody acts emotional outburst, and then you get to a certain point, and then you just burst. But when you come to the formal one, it's legal. It follows a certain system. It follows a certain procedure. You have to go through channels for you to be able to make it legal.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
I
can also add. I can also add and say, people go there. It will also depend on the circumstances. Where if we say informal separation, it will be between the two people. They will decide whether they can actually stay together in the same house, but they're separated, or they can go different ways, but they're still married.
Yes.
So it will be a discussion between the two of them. What is it that we want to achieve? Why do you want to do this? And then they will make a decision about how they would go about it. So it does not include or involve the court or the law in any way.
All right. You are giving me an idea like there's a negotiation that takes place, and then a decision is struck, and people make a decision. Look, we are going to go our separate ways, either in this house or I am going to move out and whatever. Are you sure it follows that route? Is it not possible that somebody will just decide to shut down this whole thing by themselves, and the other one is trying to make it work, and the other one is saying, no, for now, please don't touch me. I have nothing to do with you. Is it always agreed upon? Gift, what do you think?
No, it's not. Remember, for you to think of informal separation,
yes,
you know there is a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know there is a problem. Now, it depends on the maturity of the people involved. The maturity of the people involved.
Yes.
Separation, most of the times, is a step towards divorce.
Okay.
Usually.
Usually,
okay?
Yes.
Usually, yes.
But
usually,
not saying not all the time.
No. Usually, because I think legally, the other guys will help me. Legally, if you have been separated for 2 years,
yes,
you can actually file for divorce.
Or if you have gone for 2 years.
If you have gone for 2 years, like in my home country, where I come from in Zambia, if you have been separated for 2 years, it is ground enough to divorce. Yeah, because whatever you have not fixed in 2 years, that there are many factors. Because if you have not fixed it in 2 years, you have actually emotionally drifted apart.
Yes.
But that we'll discuss when we come to the symptoms. But I'm simply saying, usually separation is a step towards divorce. Also, separation is more commendable than violence, because some relationships break up because of very serious abuse. Usually, it takes maturity to say, you know what, let's not injure each other, not damage each other. For some time, you go and calm down. Let me calm down. Let me observe myself while you observe yourself. Go and have your self-talk about this thing. Have your self-talk. The outcome of your self-talk will determine whether we come and live together. Because you see, you'd rather go for self-talk each other than talk each other in a way that might trigger a more dangerous scenario.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me find out, Alvin there, Wabile. Tell me, separation, does the church tolerate this? Is it something that should happen within a Christian community? Should Christians separate?
Happen, right. Actually, when you look at the church manual,
yes,
you will realize
of the Seventh Adventist
there is
Church.
a chapter of the Seventh Adventist Church. There is a concept or a chapter on marriage, divorce, and remarriage. So when you get to that chapter, it talks about separation. That at times you come to a point when you have nothing else to do but to separate. But it's not the way to go. Before people separate, there should be a process of trying to bring the people together. That is why gift refers to 2 years. That 2-year period is meant to reconcile the parties. The legal courts do not rush to offer a divorce order.
No.
They will try as much as possible to ensure that you stick together. But before I move beyond that, I want to answer your question that you asked. That is it always negotiation before people go on an informal separation? At times, they can negotiate. At times, there is one who is not cooperative, who don't want to discuss, and that person will just make a decision and say, everything that I say stands, and so that person moves out. Either or, one of them decides to move out without any negotiation. So when you look at that informal perspective, you are simply saying it's between two parties. One can decide, and at times they can negotiate.
Okay, no, that's fine. In this program, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we are very painfully practical. We try to avoid being too symbolic and whatever. Some of our viewers who are listening right now could be in the state that we are discussing. Maybe they're staying together, but there's a shutdown, or maybe somebody moved out, there's a shutdown. Can we discuss the setup of people that have put their marriage on a shutdown? What is happening when they are living together? What is happening when somebody has gone out? What kind of life are they pursuing? How are things happening? How does this shutdown present itself to those who are still in the same house? Maybe let's begin with that one.
Fundis, I want to quickly go back to the previous part where we said there could be negotiation or not, and the time during the separation. What happens during the separation? Because Pastor Mwemba said usually that informal separation usually leads to divorce, which is not always the case. So it will depend on what happens during the 2 years, because it can happen that people have realized, you know what, we've been separated, and we realize that this is not what we want. So they could actually work things out. So there is a possibility that they could get back together again, even after the 2 years. So depending on the laws of the country, it will depend on what the laws of the country are, and they can actually be able to come back together again. And now, what happens during the time when they are separated, but they are in the same house? So there'll also be negotiations on how do we go about with the bills. actually, Fundis, I see a lot of children, and I would often see parents together, but then they're not living together. So they will come, because I'm seeing this child, the child will be my index patient. And then the parents have to, because we're working, maybe the child would be presenting with whatever issue the child is presenting with. So the parents are coming together, and then I find out that, yes, they're staying together, but they're not together anymore. So it could be a complicated situation. So it depends on the terms and conditions that they have put in place. So the terms and conditions will be determined by the two people who would say, okay, now this is what I'm going to do. What are we going to do about the finances? What are we going to do about the bills? What are we going to do about how we communicate? Are we still communicating? Are we not communicating? You know, all things like that.
Yes. Let's. I don't know what Gift has to add to this. First of all, I'm looking at it structurally, Faith, where you have a situation where the wife, you know, these guys have a small house, and they only have one bedroom, and the wife decides, look, I'm going to sleep on the carpet, and you remain up there on the bed, or vis-a-vis. The husband comes down and the wife is up there. And unfortunately, the children are not privy to this. They may not be seeing that mom and dad there's a situation in the bedroom that is going. I don't know for how long they're able to hide it, but sometimes by accident it may spill over and the children may get to know and what have you. What about a situation where you have a wife moves to another bedroom, the husband remains in the other bedroom, in the main bedroom, or vice versa, and you have your teenagers, you have your children, the preteens, the grade school children, and they now see that mom is sleeping by herself, or with us, dad is by himself. How does this situation? How do children go through this?
Mfundis, we may think children don't notice these things. As adults, we may be, even if we're doing our thing in secretly in our bedroom, you know, children can sense if there's something wrong.
Yes.
Because obviously the situation and the environment is tense. It's not conducive enough. You're not relating to each other the way you used to relate. And the children will see, even if they don't see what's going on in the bedroom, but they will see that there is something wrong in the house. So that actually affects children negatively, which is something that we parents also need to be aware of, because we are only concerned about ourselves. I'm angry at him. I don't want to speak to him. And or I'm angry at her. You know, all of that. Your emotions are running so high that you forget that there's children who are affected by this. Does not matter the age. You may think, oh, maybe they're young, they don't understand, or maybe they're older, they understand. They are still affected. And in the situation, if there's that in the house, children are really affected in a negative way.
They're affected in a negative. Anything to add there, Gift, or maybe Wabile there? Anything to add structurally? What's happening inside the house during the shutdown?
Well, if I may say something, I think, you know, there are times when a couple,
yes,
will be civil enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, very civil. And those are rare cases.
Okay.
Yeah, when a couple is very civil, to say we will live together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for them to get there, you must know that there is a shutdown somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a shutdown somewhere.
Yeah, there is a shutdown somewhere. And you know, the shutdown, we can call it a psychosomatic shutdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning
two humans who loved each other. Are you with me?
Yes.
On the day they got married, they say till death do us part. But they are not dead yet.
Yeah.
But there's a shutdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not dead. What has happened? The psychosomatic simply means there is a mental shutdown between the two.
Okay. Between the two.
Between the two. Something, a virus has intruded.
Yes.
In the mental, it is intruded. Once there is that intrusion,
yes,
translates to the physiology of the two.
Of the two, yes.
Yeah, when there is a shutdown here.
In the brain.
In the head.
Yeah.
The bodies cannot share the same bed. That's what I'm saying. It's a psychosomatic. Psycho, the head, body, soma.
So let me hold you while you're there, Gift, because I want our followers to get to understand what exactly you are saying. If there is a shutdown in my brain, it will translate into physiological shutdown on my body.
That's right.
So that I have no feelings for you anymore.
That's exactly it. Once there is a shutdown here, and when we talk of a shutdown, we are not saying you have become mentally bonkers. No, you are fine.
Yes.
You are fine. Okay? But you are not finding each other.
Now, okay, Pastor, you are a family family ministries graduate there. Maybe you may help us in this case. Let's suppose this pastor is very faithful. He's leading a congregation, or maybe this elder very faithful. He's part of the leadership at a local church, and there is a sexual shutdown, as Gift would like to put it. And what does the elder do, or what does the Mam Fundis do when she has needs and there is a shutdown?
That's a difficult one.
Okay, that's
everyone who is ready, please help me, because we want to be very practical. Some of the people who are preaching on our pulpits, man, have a shutdown at home. And yet they're the preachers in our local churches. Some of the women are leading our children, they are leading departments, but at home there is a total shutdown. And yet there is another person in the shutdown who may still have a system that is not completely on the shutdown. What does this spouse do?
Maybe, Mike, before we get to the effects of the shutdown, because you are talking about the effects of the shutdown.
Okay.
We need to discuss, here is an informal shutdown. What are the symptoms? What are the symptoms that here there is a shutdown?
Okay.
What is it?
Let's go there straight, and then we come back to my scenario.
To the effect of the shutdown.
Yes. So what are the symptoms? How do we see this marriage is either headed for a shutdown or it's now in the shutdown? How do we see it?
Yeah. Remember, marriage is more difficult than running a government. You must know that. It's easier to run a government than to run.
Sure?
I'm very sure. I'm going to tell you now. Yes. You know, when you marry a person, you become a specimen in a laboratory when you marry a person. Because this person is with you at breakfast. This person is with you at lunch. This person is with you at supper. This person is with you in bed. You begin to see. Be careful what I'm about to say. You become what we call the idiosyncrasy of this person. And idiosyncrasy comes from the word idiot. You begin to see those hidden personal foolishness of this person.
In a shutdown, you will see those clearly now.
In the marriage, you begin to see these. And then you ask yourself, hey, am I going to live with this the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Because why I say that? Because you see, a national president,
Yes.
his idiosyncrasies are not known by the citizens of the country, but the wife knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wife knows.
Uh-huh.
You see, the wife knows. So I'm simply saying there are statesmen who have divorced. They have run countries, but they can't run the woman or they can't run the husband.
Yeah, the husband, yes.
Yeah, it's not a simple thing. So now, when we look at symptoms, what are the symptoms?
What are the symptoms?
Number one is the absence of communication. Now, I'm not talking of communication where I say, can I have that cup?
Yeah.
And you understand that gift wants a cup, and you bring the communication I'm talking about.
Yes.
Somebody tried to define what death is. Death is simply the absence of communication.
Mm-hmm.
When you are dead, nothing
you can't
is
communicate.
No, not that you can't, but nothing is communicating in your body. That's that's blood is not moving. The neurons are not doing anything. There are no impact. You are dead. One of the
Doctor, I think you've changed your gadget.
Yes. One of the symptoms, Mike, is the absence of dialogue. Dialogue is now replaced by debate. Are you following?
Yeah, I'm following, yes.
There is the absence, I'm finishing. There is the absence of dialogue. What is dialogue? Or is opposed to debate? Dialogue is when you listen to your spouse, okay, with the intention of appreciating their contribution.
Yes.
And you are ready to say, if what you say is making sense, let's go along with it. Because there is a mutual understanding that whatever she does, whatever he's saying, it is for the mutual benefit of the family.
Yes.
When there is a shutdown, the dialogue is replaced by debate.
By debate.
Debate is when you talk with an intention of scoring points.
Okay. Okay.
You are scoring points. And you talk with an intention of putting the other down. That's a simple.
Yeah.
Whenever you talk, it's a question of no, outshining the other. No, you are wrong. No. And in a debate, you don't listen to the other. You only hear them so that you can prepare your response. Okay. In a dialogue, into another. So that's a serious thing. Once you lose the dialogue of chit chat, how was work? What were you doing? Hey man, I'm stressed. You know.
Oh, okay. I get the point. You have said the two things there. Communication is dead, and dialogue is dead, and it is replaced by debate.
Exactly.
And in a debate, you are trying to score points. And what have you?
That's right.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Faith, do you want to say something? We are looking at the symptoms.
I also just want to add on what Pastor just said in terms of
Faith, before you come in, Dr. Ndlovu, may you switch off one of your phones?
Okay, all the phones are off.
All the phones are off.
It's fine.
Yes, I have no. That is on.
Okay.
I've only switched. Yes.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, let's go. Symptoms of a shutdown.
The absence of dialogue, as Pastor has already said. So when the other one starts to speak, you just want to find fault. Yes. So you want to make sure that I'm on the right. So the other partner is always on the wrong.
Okay.
So once you start, there's no place where you can get together and find common ground. You are always just finding fault. And unfortunately, sometimes that happens in the bedroom and sometimes it happens in front of the children. So depending on, the space that you have, or maybe depending on the intentions of the other partner wants to put you down. They actually don't respect you anymore, and then they will do and answer you in a negative way in front of the children. So you know when that happens, then shutdown has already started.
Okay, when you are dragging your conflict in front of children, it is symptomatic that we have a big problem here. Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Wabile, do you have anything
Yes.
to add?
Yes, I wanted to add this fact that when one of the symptoms is you go on airplane mode, people become quiet in marriage. Somebody who used to be talkative becomes silent. The person is no longer communicating, or the person is no longer willing to communicate, even in front of the children. You are talking in front of the children, and the person answers one-word answers or something like that. That is a symptom of the issue of what we are discussing tonight. So then the other thing are quarrels. You begin to see constant quarrels within the family. Somebody says this, somebody goes on the contrary. Somebody suggests this, somebody suggests something different. That suggests that this marriage is on separation.
Okay, thank you. Now that leads us to what I raised earlier on, Gift, when you said, let's go to symptoms. When there is a shutdown of the conjugal rights, is that not a major symptom?
It is, if I may say something, it is.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, remember, you mentioned, you used the word structure when you started. Structure.
Yeah.
Okay. That structure, it simply means, you know, marriage, some marriage therapists, they put 3 levels of the structure.
Yes.
There's the spousal structure. Where husband and wife function together.
At that level.
At that level. Then there's the parental structure. Where these husband and the wife, they also function as parents. And then the sibling structure.
Yes.
That's where the children relate to each other. Now, let's come to the spousal structure.
Yes.
The spousal structure is a world of 2 citizens. 2.
Yeah. 2 years.
2 citizens. In that world, no visitors are allowed. It doesn't matter how dear they are to you.
Yes.
They are not allowed. There are no tourists there.
Yes.
You can't tour that structure.
Yeah.
There are no friends in there. It's the 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. In that spousal structure,
yes,
you have no visa, no passport.
Yes.
If any is found, they must be deported immediately. They don't belong.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't belong. Okay. Now, in that spousal structure, one of the symptoms is that structure, you know, it has a rubber fence. It doesn't have a wall fence. It has a rubber fence.
A rubber fence, yes.
A rubber fence implies that this spousal structure can expand if it wants to include something for its benefit.
Yeah.
It can also contract to eject what is not needed there.
Yeah.
But if this structure now begins to include, you see this emotional drift apart. Yeah. You find that when there is this shutdown, friends become more valuable than the spouse.
Okay.
The man will spend more time with his friend.
Okay.
Exactly. He's trying to find emotional comfort. You find the woman will either spend time with friends or go on a shopping freak. Yeah.
We call it retail therapy.
Retail therapy. There you go.
Right. Gift there. Gift. Are you telling me that when my friend is hanging around me, it's now 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., the guy on daily basis is with us and not with his family, that could be a sign that our friend could be having problems at home.
It is a sign that there is a problem.
Why would you want to be with us and not with your family?
Exactly. Where do you find the energy to escape the gravity of marriage? Because marriage has a gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a gravity that pulls. But
Yes.
once you find this man has acquired which what we call escape velocity, he is
Yes.
able to break that gravity. There's a problem.
Okay, no, that's fine. Let's move into another very important point here, and which is when people, whether there is a choice made or an agreement made, but they find that they are in a shutdown or they are going into a shutdown, at the back of their minds, what is going on there? What are they trying to achieve? When my wife says, "Don't touch me, please don't touch me, leave me alone," and it goes for a week, leave me alone. It goes for a month, leave me alone. Or the man says, "No, the man is not coming home anymore. He comes when everybody's asleep. He comes when everybody's asleep." When you are doing all these things, what are you trying to achieve? Anybody can.
Mfundisi, I want to actually say we actually all have to think about why we want to do this.
That's what we are looking at.
Yes. Why do we want to separate? So it has to be a discussion. Yes, sometimes it could be one partner saying, "I'm off. I'm packing my bags. I'm leaving." But maybe we have at some point when the other partner has cooled down, you say, "Okay, you're leaving now. What is our goal?" It's something that we both need to talk about. Are we doing this because we want to see that we can live separately? Or are we doing this because we want to see, do the self-talk, talk about, think about myself. What is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm not doing? What is it that I'm contributing to this marriage that's not working? Or what is it that I'm contaminating within this marriage? So it's a decision. You have to talk about what's the intentions, what are the objectives. That's number one. And you have to agree on those.
Okay. You have created a reversal in my mind. A reversal in my mind. Where Gift had taken us to was a symptom in a shutdown marriage suggests that communication is dead. We are failing to communicate. You are not only failing, but you are dead in terms of communication. Now tell me, how do two dead people then appraise a situation and come up with objectives?
You see, then that's a challenge because it will depend on the objectives that you have. Because if you say, like Mfundisi said earlier on, Pastor Mwemba said, usually separation will eventually lead to divorce. If we're not discussing, if we don't have goals, that will eventually lead to divorce. But if there are no goals, because remember, both of you have to decide this is what we want, and this is how we are going to go about it.
Yes.
And as we go about this, then we'll decide on the time frame, depending on, whatever it is that you decide on. Okay, now after 6 months, let's get back together again and see if we're still on the same page. We still want to continue in this, then you can make a decision. So at some point, there has to be some communication.
No, I think you brought up a very powerful point that at some stage there must be a redirection to dialogue, and you have to talk about this. Otherwise, this thing is gone.
Yes. Now the dialogue, the dialogue is not always for a good outcome.
Right.
The dialogue is to say, let's agree to disagree. Because remember, Mike, when you are in a relationship, you are not the relationship.
Yeah,
you are not the relationship, and that's the problem. The challenge many people have when they get into a marriage relationship, they become the marriage. No, you are not the marriage.
Yeah.
marriage found you. Marriage can live. Yes.
Yeah.
It can live. So the dialogue is to say, and I'm saying you have to be civil about it. The dialogue is to listen. It looks like living together. We are destroying each other.
Yes.
Yeah, it comes to that. I know as pastors we say, let's pray about it. But there are times when two people have become so incompatible.
So incompatible.
So that to remain together is more damaging than the other. I'll tell you why.
Yes.
When there is a shutdown, it is not like a company that says we are not making sales. No, it's different. It's somebody is hurting. Are you with me? Somebody is hurting. And nobody wants to live a hurting life. No.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody is hurting. And you ask the question to say, okay, during the shutdown, when people put sanctions, what are they trying to achieve? There's one thing they want to achieve. They want to hurt the other more.
Oh, yes. Oh, they want to hurt the other person more.
They want to hurt if they say, don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
I want you to feel the pain you are causing me.
Eish.
Yeah. Where things get out of hand, that's where you find the passion killings. Are you yeah. That's where you find a guy says, you have hurt me so deeply, and the only way I can do this, I'll pour hot water on you, I'll kill the children. It hurts. And that's not a simple thing. A human is hurting. That's why I'm saying where they are civil and there is intervention is to say, listen, give each other space.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
let me go to the pastor. Let's go to Pastor Njov.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to go to Pastor Njov there. Pastor Njov, you hear what Gift is saying. In a secular world, it's very easy to implement, to say, look, I am hurting and don't touch me, you leave or I leave, or I'm going to the other room and for as long as it takes, or maybe let's terminate this marriage because I can't stomach it. I feel for Christians whose lives are biblically controlled, and we have this thing where God says, I hate divorce, and in their brains there are cases that come along with tampering with a thing called the marital institution. So if this man is suffering sanctions, there is no way he is going to go. If the woman has shut down the gates for the next 6 months, the man is just in it. Or if it is the woman is in it and she's not getting financial support, and this man is having an economic shutdown in the house, and the wife is not working and they're feeling it. How does this thing affect Christians, man? And Pastor, you are a pastor. You tell us you are a pastor. Tell us exactly what should happen to spouses in a biblically founded marriage.
The whole concept lies on pretense.
Yes.
Some people pretend things are right. Some people pretend things are normal. And we forget that when things are not normal, there's always a way in things.
Yeah.
So Christians, in many instances, pretend to make things right. They are pretenders, great pretenders. And so because we pretend, we suffer a great deal. So it's important for Christians to communicate. As Gift says, communication is very important. And come out of the shell and stand up. And because you're a Christian, it doesn't mean you have no rights. As a Christian, you also have those rights that you need to stand up for. So I cannot be abused because I'm a Christian. I should stand up and do the right thing. So my take on this one would be, as Christians, let us be realistic. Let us do the real thing and walk the talk and do the right thing and move out of our shells.
Can I make you laugh a little bit? Let me make you laugh a little bit if you guys are able to laugh. Let's go back to my 1983 one day shutdown. And by the way, for you to experience a one-day shutdown, it means you've got several weeks of conflict there.
Yes.
And when you work out, the
Process.
shutdown is a result. Are you getting the point? Then in a situation where you say, no, you can't leave because what about my job? I'm a pastor. What would the church think and what have you? The young Elizabeth told me in my face, look, me, I don't want to live a life where we are always arguing and whatever. And if you are worried about your church, why don't you go and marry your church? And I'm sure you'll do better with your church and not with me. And I'm trying to buttress what you are saying. As Christians, let's stop this business of pretending. Pretending injures the relationship and its part is more. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
But gift, maybe faith, I don't know. Do you know why Christians pretend? Do you know why Christians pretend? Why would a pastor pretend? Why would an elder pretend? Why would an Adventist or a Catholic or Methodist, a believer in the Bible, pretend?
Because they want to
deal with each other in the marriage.
There's a facade that they want to show out there. You know,
Yes.
when you are a Christian, this is how you're supposed to be. You know, people, this usually happens where the pastor or the elder, they fight, and then they go to church as if nothing happened. Even the elder will go preach there, but he just beat his wife. So these things do happen. And because we want people to see what we want them to see, which is not truthful. It is not what we are, but it's a facade that we're putting out there that we want people to see, which is not helpful because that's false. So it's important that we are truthful to ourselves before we can be truthful to other people. So you have to be truthful to yourself first.
Right. Let's go to one of our psychologists there, Gift. Gift.
Yeah, you know, Mike.
Yeah, if one of your church members, maybe in leadership position, an elder, and their wife come to your office and they need your marital counseling, and the wife says, look, my husband has given me STI, sexually transmitted infection, and this is the elder that you do Lord's Supper with, you baptize together with him, and he is your right-hand man. Should his wife divulge things like this to church leadership, or there are certain things that you must keep to yourself? We're talking about pretending. Sure, can we say everything? I know in the secular world is very easy, but what about to the believers? Can they say, no, Mrs. Ngwaru goes to Pastor Mapos and says, no, Pastor Ngwaru beat me up yesterday, and what have you? How would you take it yourself when a Christian is divulging that? I want to find out the reason why people end up pretending or putting a facade at church.
Yes. I'll tell you, in my opinion.
Yes.
You see, we as pastors are responsible for that.
Yes.
Yes. Because we have not transformed the church into a therapy center.
Into a therapy center.
No, we have not.
And I want you to tell us exactly what you mean by that.
Yes. You see, when a person goes to church, remember, the person spends 60 days outside the church.
Yes.
In the pull and the push of life.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. When they come to church, they are coming for therapeutic attention.
Okay.
Yes. The person must leave the church. That's why we say burdens are lifted at Calvary.
At Calvary, yes.
But there are times when a church member will come with the burdens. Okay?
Yes.
Those burdens are very sensitive.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
So the idea is, if I come with my burdens, and I leave my burdens there. And the minister of the gospel gets the burden. Most of the times, the minister will do two things.
Okay.
The minister might use that burden as material for a sermon.
For a sermon, yes.
Yes.
Hey.
They will use a material for a sermon. People will not know who he is talking about, but I will know. But my question is, who else knows?
Yes.
Okay, that's number one. Material of the sermon. In our preaching, we have indirectly stigmatized people with the problem. It's like when they have a mental problem, they are not Christian enough.
Yes.
That's number two. Number three, when my elder's wife comes to me to divulge such a problem.
Yes.
Are you with me? Yes. When they divulge such a problem, what I need to dialogue with, I cannot talk to her alone.
Yes.
That is a signal and a call for intervention.
For intervention, yes.
For intervention.
Yes.
It's a Macedonian call.
Yes.
We have a problem.
Okay.
We need intervention. And there are guidelines for intervening in such situations. In other words,
okay. Are you done there?
If you can take it, Pastor, no, you can take it, Doctor. But I'm saying it's a call for healing.
Yes. Now, gentlemen, we just have a few minutes left, gentlemen and lady. Let's quickly go to people are in a shutdown. What are the interventions? How can they come back to normalcy, or how can they transition to divorce? How do we look at this? They're in a shutdown. What intervention should be at work? Dr. Jovu?
Thank you very much. The first thing is they have to dialogue. Dialogue is important. The two people should get together just as they did at the beginning of the marriage contract. So they should make sure they discuss and have a dialogue, number one.
Dialogue
Number two,
dialogue must come back.
Dialogue must come back. In all instances, dialogue is essential. Because once dialogue is lost, everything is lost. Because you'll be working on assumptions. We want to work on facts rather than on assumptions. And then the second thing that I would like to mention is that, yes, while we seek pastoral care, we should make sure we go to somebody we trust, somebody we can confide in. There are some people who, when we open up, will share and open up everything to the rest of the world. So we need to have a situation where there is that confidence, establish confidence, and people come to you and they discuss with you freely, knowing that you will not spread that information. So that's one of the things you need to do. You need to seek counsel, pastoral care. You need pastoral care as well as dialoguing.
Okay, the extended family thing, is it still working, Pastor? I remember in our days in the 80s, when I've got a problem with Elizabeth, we go to her aunt, we go to my aunt, we go to my uncle, we go to her uncle, and this did a lot of bringing the couple back again to the faith intervention.
That actually does still help, Pastor. Where remember we in a village, when you say it takes a village to raise a child. So even in this marriage, it could be a village, but sometimes it doesn't work. So it's important for me to know where to go. Like Pastor said, you need to find someone that you can trust. I've always had a challenge of, with all respect to the pastors, you know. Sometimes you go to a pastor and you think, oh, maybe you look around and think, who can I speak to? And you find no one. that we can speak to. That's why people will continue pretending as if things are still okay. So we need to be trustworthy also as members of the church. You know, at least someone must be able to trust someone where they can talk to them when they feel that, wow, I'm being overwhelmed. They can speak to someone else. Intervention is very important. So it could be intervention from the family side, but most importantly, I also want to say professional intervention is very important, because often we look at people when a person goes to see a psychologist, and we open our eyes and go, oh, he or she's going to a psychologist. What's wrong in that? When I have flu, I go to the doctor. When I have pain in my heart, I go to a psychologist to go speak to them. So we have to make this possible for people and not judge. That's the other thing. We're being judgmental of other people as if we are not human. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Therefore, we have to work with each other. We have to build each other. We have to pull each other up and not break each other down.
Okay, fine. Gift. Trust is completely lost. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. Trust is completely lost. This guy was into this affair, the wife forgave. He goes into this affair, the wife forgave. Goes into this other affair, uncle was involved, auntie was involved, everybody, the pastor came to assist, the guy was still in affairs. When the woman finally says, we are going for a shutdown, is it possible to resurrect a trust? And how can that be done?
Yeah, you see, it's like a disease. You know, they are opportunistic diseases. Yeah, you get diarrhea, you get medication, you are fine.
Yes.
But they are chronic diseases. Now, if the guy becomes a chronic adulterer.
And a chronic adulterer, yes.
A chronic adulterer. The Bible has guidelines. Leave the nigger alone. Leave
him alone.
Yeah, leave the nigger alone, because he has broken the trust. It's broken. And the Bible will say that it is broken. If it broke by accident, that's opportunistic. It's fine. But if this person has chosen to walk that path, then the thing is broken. You will be unwise as a pastor to insist that
right. Let me complicate it. Let me complicate it further. At church, we've heard things like marriage can only be terminated through death and through infidelity and stuff like that. And these days is another, what is it? Desertion, when
abandonment.
It's abandonment. Yeah.
Abandonment. Yes. Now, Pastor, Faith, and Gift, tell me, a woman who is being beaten every day, there's reconciliation, she's beaten again, there's a shutdown, there's intervention, they come together, she's beaten again, and there's a shutdown, they come. You are saying an adulterer must be left alone. You go and marry your affairs if you think they're more beautiful than I am. You can go and stay there. Maybe let's terminate this thing so that we can give you room to go back to your affairs. What about this one who is being beaten on a daily basis? Intervention after intervention, like you are saying, is chronic. A person who is abused on daily basis, do they have a reason to divorce or to permanently separate?
You know, Mike. You will come in, you senior people. You see, when I marry a person,
yes,
I am not sacrificing my life. No. Because for them to stay married to me, I must be alive first.
When are you a Christian, Gift?
I'm a Christian.
Are you sure you're a Christian?
I must, when I marry a person, I give my consent Not my life.
Not my life.
Not my life. You are married to me because I'm a living being.
Not a dead one.
No, but even if I'm married to you, you actually have no right and access to my life. My right to live. You don't have access there. You only have access to what I have consented to share life with you. So if this marriage is a threat to my breathing, cut it. Cut it.
So
Because
we are dealing with,
wait,
we are dealing practically.
Yes. If you are beating me today, are you with me?
Yes.
Tomorrow, you might beat me and get into a frenzy and pick the nearest knife. If you are beating me in the kitchen, you get into a frenzy and pick the nearest knife. And in your frenzy, terminate my life. Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
All right, friends. I'm sure we need a second round on this topic. It's getting hotter and hotter and more practical as we move forward. But I'd like to give each one of you like a minute each to give us your take-home message to our viewers. I know we have not exhausted this, and like I'm saying, we'll have to create another second round to go into as many scenarios as are possible. But if you are looking at a take-home message, something, Faith, that you think, your listeners, after we have said everything we have said, and we are saying this statement, I think is very critical and very important. What would that be? And I also heard that you are a therapist, you have a private clinic, and what have you. Could you tell us more about yourself, and also what would be the last statement that you can say to our viewers tonight? People are in serious problems.
I have always believed that, like Pastor Mwemba has said, when we're in a relationship, we are there to build each other. We are not there to kill each other. So it's important that when I'm in a relationship, I know that I'm bringing the positive, not the negative. So it's important that I know that my partner must be alive and I must be alive. So we're doing this together. So we have to hold each other's hands and move together. So if one person decides to let go, yes, we can try, the other person can try, but remember, at the end of the day, it takes two people to do this. Yes, we know that the marriage is from God, but a person cannot do it alone.
Yes.
So it takes two people. So it's important that two people are committed to this marriage. Because if there's only one person who's committed, then it's not good. Really, practically, it's not working out.
It's not working out.
Dealing with a lot of gender-based violence cases in South Africa and around the world, it's important that we know when we are in danger. I'm speaking now as a woman. I know sometimes men are also in danger, but as a woman, I'm speaking on behalf of other women where, yes, you realize I'm in danger and you don't have to stay in that dangerous situation.
Yeah.
You have to get out. And it's also not conducive for the children to be in a home where there is conflict all the time. It's doing more harm than good to the children. Yes. So it's important that we know where we're going, the goals. Like you said, we have actually not exhausted. We have touched just a tip of the iceberg on this topic. So it's important. I think I agree that we can do this again, where we have to maybe talk about what is it that we need to do during this informal separation.
Exactly.
You know, the practical things that need to be done that we can agree on, so that we know that is it working out or it's not.
Thank you, Faith. What a message! It takes two to make it happen. Gift. It's not one person. It takes two to make things happen, and you cannot have one marriage. You cannot have a marriage where there's only one person who is committed to it. It has to be the both of. Be mature to make it work. or be mature to simply dissolve it. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Gift, what
Yes.
would be
Thank you,
your
Mike.
final message?
I'll be quick. You know, we need to accept that problems are there. There are
Yeah.
problems. Where
Yeah.
there are problems, there are solutions as well.
Yes.
You know, there are solutions. So seek for help if you have a challenge. There's a lot of help.
Yes.
Seek for help if you have a challenge. And also, remember, when you started it, the two of you.
Exactly, yes.
You started it, the two of you. Nobody was there. The people only came to join and to join your celebration. They were not the ones married. When we go to a, are you with me? We join these people to say, hey, we like what you have done. You were there. How it started, we were not there. So I'm simply saying, when you start a marriage relationship, be mature and responsible. Marriage is not for boys and girls. That's why God created Adam and Eve as a parent age.
Yes.
He did not create Adam as a boy to grow up in the garden and then meet a girl. No.
Yeah.
He created two adults because the thing that he was creating at the beginning is for adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm simply saying be mature. Second,
be mature. Yeah.
Be mature. Secondly, there are two keywords, Mike, in a relationship.
Yeah.
Negotiate and accommodate.
Yes.
When you propose each other, you negotiate.
Yes.
That negotiation does not end the minute you say yes to each other. It's a lifetime.
It's a lifetime thing. Keep negotiating.
Even if you want to have sex, negotiate. Are you with me? Always negotiate. If you want your husband to do something, never tell your husband, you are not a man like other men.
Negotiate.
Are you with me? There is a way you negotiate with a man, there is a way you negotiate with a woman. And the second word, accommodate. There are things as an individual that I don't like. Not that I don't like you, but there are things I don't like. Accommodate me.
Yeah.
If I say I don't eat spaghetti, don't ask me to say why you only. I've just cooked spaghetti. Are you with me? Accommodate me. Are you with me? If you want to go to a wedding for your friend and I like soccer, are you with me? I must have to put aside my soccer.
Yeah.
And accommodate you.
Yes.
And accompany you to where you are going. So always negotiate and accommodate one another. You are spiritual. You said I can mention my books, right?
Yes. Yeah, please. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, I have this book that says Start Happening. It says you are an asset on your own. God made a package of you. So all that you need in life, you have it in yourself. There are steps in here. In here, this is for men, mechanics of manhood. I discuss negotiation and accommodation in this book. They can contact me for it. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Gift. What a wonderful way of concluding it. Dr. Jovute, your closing remarks.
Yes, I will be brief. There are two things. Get real. Get real. Secondly, stop pretending. That has wrecked marriages. Pretense has killed marriages outrightly. So all I say as we conclude, we must be realistic. Where it means the law should take its course, allow the law to take its course. Because we don't want a dead body at the end of the day because of what we say to the people that they should do. We want to say to the people, when situations get out of hand, there is also the legal side. So because marriage is legal, so you must always ensure that you keep within the confines of the legal framework. Yes. And then lastly, I have a book. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it. It's entitled You Will Do It Again. It's a book on prayer that
Yes.
promotes prayer, and that God has not forgotten us, even if we're in the valley or in the mountains. God will do it again.
Amen.
And if our marriages are wrecking, God
Yeah.
will do it again to save our marriages.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yes, we will continue to promote these books in our future programs. We really want to have access to them. And the viewers, if you are interested in these books, just write to Let's Talk with Pastor Ngwaru. We'll be able to connect you with the publishers and the authors of these books. To our panelists, oh, I wish I could have you for another 6-7 sessions just on this topic. Just on this topic. I want to thank you for your frankness, for your honesty. I even had to ask Gift to say, do you go to church? Are you a Christian?
I do.
What have you? Because normally Christians have a way, like Dr. Ndovi saying, of pretending things are okay when things are not okay. We have a way of hiding issues when we should have them discussed and whatever. I would like to thank you for your openness. And to you viewers, it's always wonderful to have you around. Thank you for your comments and thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us every Thursday evening at 7. May the Lord continue to bless you. Those of you who are in a shutdown, remember, you can go out of it by reviving dialogue and communication. It's not fatalistic. There's always a hope that you can get out of it.
Right.
And one thing that I heard tonight is, remember, you have a responsibility to guard your life. Don't risk your life unnecessarily and live within the confines of the law. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, our viewers. And again, you know, our vision, we want to make this channel a channel of choice for human development. And for you to endorse us, please, we want you to endorse us. Why don't you subscribe to Let's Talk with Pastor Ngwaru on our YouTube? We want that endorsement is very necessary. You can also follow us on our Let's Talk with Pastor Ngwaru Facebook page. Until next Thursday, is a very good night. God bless you all. Thank you.